In 2016, the Global Risk Report talked about the failure of us acting on climate mitigation, adaptation, food crises, water crisis, biodiversity loss, and everything else. If you look at the Global Risk Report from this month, it's got worse. The same things are happening. There is a way to inform those areas, those environmental topics, using Earth observations. So Earth observations, what we mean by Earth observations, are any data or information, measurements, models of anything in, on, or around the Earth that describes the health of our planet. So here you can see 30 years of imagery from NASA that shows a decline of sea ice in the Arctic. Then here you can see how settlements have grown in India over the years as people move in from the coasts and from the rural areas. Here you can see flood monitoring. You could also use the Copernicus satellites. You could use Sentinel-1 from Copernicus to look at floods. Here we also have drought monitoring. So if anyone was tracking what happened in South Africa last year, you know that drought's a major global issue for us. So we have Earth observations to add, to give a picture or an image on top of all the statistical or tabular data that we use to measure and monitor the SDGs. So I work for the Group on Earth Observations, and we're working across a number of societal benefit areas. So agriculture, biodiversity, disasters, energy, climate, forestry, oceans. And what we're doing is we're trying to help countries, national governments, understand the value and usefulness of Earth observations, open Earth observations, data and information, the science and technology behind that will help them make their policy decisions and take action. So we're focused on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and the Paris Agreement on Climate. And the questions we were asked for this session from MIT were, how are we going to use these new innovations around blockchain and AI, and what are these disruptive technologies going to bring to society? So in terms of Earth observations, Jess talked about trust. The two of the key concepts in blockchain are trust and immutability. And these are really important for the distributed ledger technology. This is something that could be applied on both sides of the public and the private sector when you're doing something like looking at an index-based farm insurance in places like Africa and India and South America. You could use the blockchain technology there to ensure that trust, to look at the authenticity and the provenance of the image that's coming through. At the moment, the European Space Agency has an open call, so I'd encourage you to look at that. They're giving up to 60,000 euros per activity in their call. And then on the artificial intelligence, there's obviously AI for Earth that Tabitha mentioned. There are many different things going on here. And I guess if you read the paper that was written for this event, it talks about yottabytes of data. And it's too difficult for humans now to process, parse, and analyze that amount of data. So this is where particularly machine learning is very useful for doing this for these huge amounts of data. One great resource in this area is from the World Bank, from the Global Facility for Disaster Recovery and Reduction. And I've just included that so you can reference it. We have an open call for applications at the moment with Amazon Web Services, where we're providing up to 100,000 US dollars or euros for people who want to submit ideas around using cloud credits with Earth observations in developing countries. And we're also going to announce very soon a partnership with UN Environment, where we're looking at across all of the environmental aspects of the SDGs, how these new technologies can help developing countries. So out of it's now over 240 indicators, 93 of those indicators are environmental. Only 34 of them have the methodology and enough data to respond to the SDGs. Thank you very much.